up, as you say, a couple miles. That's twice as much. This ought to be credit to meet that. This has not occurred yet. To me, the fish doesn't give a dang who pays the bill to give them more habitat. Why in the heck is the state and the feds worried about that?
Well,
I mean, that's just ludicrous. If we're opening it up and we're doing this on our own accord, we're not forced to do this at all. This is
not
we can
yet.
easily say, you know what, we're not going to do this one, but we're doing it because it's the right thing to do, and we're paying part of the bill when, quite frankly, the reason why we did not cause the endangered species list, we did not cause the decline. We shouldn't be footing the bill for the restoration, but we're doing it because it's the right thing to do. And the feds need to understand that, and that was the message that when we created the 5-county program in 1997, that was the message we made very loud and very clear to them. So if we're going to open up 2 new miles of habitat completely on our own, then dang it, we ought to get credit for that to meet the 5,000 feet that we have required to open up without them even paying attention to the miles and miles and miles that we've already paid to open up.
Okay. Well,
I'm done venting, but it's just
we're paying a
frustrating if
portion
they're not
of
going
this
to count
one.
this
Yeah.
because of who pays
Yeah.
the bill.
Yeah.
Stupid. Not you, I'm venting.
I
and
know.
it's the
I know.
powers above us.
Yeah.
Boy, I thought I was the only one in a bad mood today.
No, I'm in a good mood. That just...
Okay, any other comments?
So
Just one further comment. Until our federal government starts recognizing that the problems with our fisheries are out in the ocean, and, you know, we can create all the habitat we want, but without any fish coming back up,
That's right.
we're never going to improve the numbers. They need to start looking at what the foreigners are doing out in the oceans.
For every 100 that swim out, only one comes back.
That's
That
right, yeah.
tells me that the problem's not
That's
us
exact-
creating habitat.
But it's so easy to regulate and put to more restrictions on local government and local landowners and ignore what the foreigners are doing out in the ocean.
But I'd like to see us,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to just leave it
Okay.
as a discussion here. I'd like to see us pursue this, and if council needs to assist with us, to make this the mitigation for the Mill Creek.
Oh, so that's what you're referring to?
That's what I'm
Okay.
referring to.
What I meant was typically with Army Corps, when you get a credit for a wetland creation, it's the actual area that you create the wetland in. We are opening up, but if there's a requirement for Mill Creek
Right.
that we just open up habitat.
Then this ought to be it,
Huh?
or others that we've already done, but
Yeah.
I don't want to lose this opportunity to meet that.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm done.
Yeah.
Do others on the board disagree with the intent to have this looked at as possibly addressing Mill Creek mitigation besides just this? Okay, I think that can be a direction to staff to look into it and move towards it. So we do have a motion before us to adopt this letter of support. It's been seconded. All those in favor of this letter signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, passes on a 5-0 vote. Thank you very much. And that concludes your director's report?
Yes, unless there's any questions.
Okay. Any questions of the director?
Thanks, Howard.
Okay, thank you very much for that timely item, Howard. Let's see. We're just a couple minutes behind schedule, so why don't we adjourn now for...
Mr. Chairman, just a question, could we take the off-agenda item, our water director's here, general manager? Could we just take that one? I think it's brief.
Any problem with that for the board? Okay, let's take that item up before we break for lunch then.
This item was brought to our attention after the agenda was published, so this would be to take an action on submitting a letter to the State Water Resources Control Board. So I guess I would ask council if we can make the findings to do so on today as an off-agenda item?
Yes.
So then I'll make the recommended motion, Mr. Chair, that we take this as an off-agenda item.
Okay, is there a second to taking this up? There is a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of taking this as an off-agenda item signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that motion passes 5-0 vote. Supervisor Smith.
Thank you very much. So this is basically discussion, possible action to authorize staff to prepare and submit a letter to the State Water Resources Control Board requesting that the board hold additional public workshops to discuss and receive public comment on the proposed North Coast in-stream flow policy. And the letter would ask that they do so in a timely manner, and they would conduct these additional hearings, one being requested in Mendocino County during the public comment time, and that now has been extended as our board discussions and our general manager can comment on to the May 1st deadline. So basically, my information is, and this comes from the Russian River Watershed Coalition that I'm a board representative to, that there's a lot of concern there that basically the department has not stepped up and offered to do these public meetings. There was one conducted in Sonoma County, but there was the feeling of the coalition that we really need the department to step up and hold additional public comments, because there's no real comprehensive understanding of the implications to both ag and to residential users under AB 2121. And so the request in this letter would be that since there isn't widespread understanding and there is concern regarding the in-stream flow policies, that we need to have additional workshops. And so the content of this letter created by our general manager would be to address this concern and ask that they hold one in Mendocino County.
Okay, discussion.
Well, just real quickly, I guess I support this. This is one of the issues where this law was, they made the law and then they said, we'll fill in the blanks later.
Right.
So I'm really I think we need to, rather than have the comment, I think we should start out by saying, hell no, we don't like it, instead of saying, we want to hear more about it. That's kind of my position. So I guess the devil's in the detail, what the letter's going to say. I really think we should, rather than say what they're saying now is, this is what we're going to do, and we're saying, well, yeah, but tell us more about it. I think we should say, no, we don't want you to do this, and then start from there.
Okay.
Well, we certainly, May 1 is the deadline for us to submit comments, and we certainly have that opportunity on May 1 to tell them, look, we don't like the policy, that's it. And so we do have that opportunity. Right now, I think the concern is there's a lot of individuals out there that are who will be affected by the policy, but just are not very knowledgeable about it, and largely because there's been very little public outreach by the State Water Resources Control Board. And so as a part of, we will have the opportunity to say, no, we don't like this policy and this is why, and please go away. But for the benefit of those, just your everyday person who's just trying to learn more about the policy and get educated so they can even make intelligent comments, it would be very helpful if there was more public outreach. And so, again, the intent of the letter would be just, look, there needs to be State Water Resources Control Board. There needs to be more public outreach. There needs to be more than just the one workshop that was held in Santa Rosa.
I have no problem requesting these additional workshops. I would like to see one in this county.
Yeah.
And maybe that's already been stated, and I've been busy doing something else up here for a minute. But this is a very draconian bill, and the implementation has very dire consequences as possibilities for this county. I certainly want my constituents of the county, not my district, to have comments on this issue, and I want to have a public hearing in this county. And if not, a very bare minimum of at least more public hearings than just the one that's been held so far. So the implications of this are just terrible. And I restate again, I think this is just a voter/power grab of Southern California bureaucrats in an effort to control the water resources of the state of California for reasons other than my citizens here in this county. So, Supervisor Pinchas.
Well,